I'm back. Some of you will remember that old series. Remember it was like, what was it called? Will It Bow? See, the series isn't dead. I just haven't had time, but we are reviving, bringing it back to life today with a seat belt backing Will It Bow. See, what I do is I take these ideas from you guys. Whatever's requested the most amount of times are videos I like to make. So these are influenced by you. The reason I'm holding this hickory stave right here is because I want to use it for this bow build. But you're like, Kramer, hickory doesn't need to have a backing, correct? But what if it's a completely busted, broken piece of hickory? This will absolutely prove whether this seat belt is a good backing or not. Because if I pull this back now, it's toast. Hey Siri. What are seat belts made from?
I don't know. You're the expert, Clay Hayes.
Seatbelts are made of webbed fabric, which is often polyester or nylon. I've used other fabrics as bow backings, but this might be the strongest. So will it bow? Maybe the real question is, will a seatbelt make a bow worthy of recommending to a friend? Let's find out right now. There are nearly unlimited ways to be successful with gluing up a bow. So many methods, but this is what I'm gonna do today because it's simple and you can actually do it at home very easily if you want to. So I'm starting with a pre-tapered stave. You don't need that. You could just use a piece of wood from the hardware store. And next, the materials I'm gonna use is the seat belt. I'm going to use typical cheap yellow wood glue. Nothing expensive, I don't even care the brand. That's way overthought in bow making. And then some string. Doesn't matter the kind of string. Order of operation is we're going to insert some glue into this split and clamp that down first. Let that dry for an hour or so until it will just hold. And then we're gonna put the seat belt on and then glue goes everywhere. The string holds it in place. Take that off, little tiller, little whoosh, bullseye, baby. It will bow. That's my prediction. Let's find out. I let this sit overnight and we got good news. The good news is that the string is really easy to sand off. It does stick with the glue, but we throw it on a big sander, or any sander for that matter, and it comes right off and cleans up. That's much easier than sitting here for however long unwrapping it. I don't think this is gonna be an issue, but it's an issue right now. On the bow, we have these fluffies. Here's a good example. They keep popping up. Those little annoying suckers right there. Now you know how fabric can be like hardened in resin and then you can sand it, kind of like it's wood. I'm thinking we could use just CA glue with some accelerator on these corners and edges to solidify those little fluffies. And then I can sand it down smooth. Let's try. I pulled an audible, so like, why just do the edges? I spread the glue over the entire piece. It's CA glue, it's flexible enough for a bow. I've done bow backings with it before. I think this will harden the outside of the fabric as well, making it more rigid, hopefully seeping through, holding it tighter. But if you're interested in bow making, this is a clear PVC back bow. This one's backed with a green tie. This one's backed with a bamboo slat. This one is backed with fiberglass. This one's backed with fiberglass tape. This one's backed with sinew. And what all of those have in common is once you solidify the backing, you basically forget it's there. You just proceed with tillering the rest of the time. So I split up the bow making into getting the stave complete, which is either adding a backing, chasing a growth ring, or not having a backing at all, to the other side of it, which is creating this bow, tillering, finishing it out. They're kind of separate. So we're coming to the close on the first section right now, which is getting the stave fully complete, ready to bend. I do want this to soak through the fabric, so I'm gonna let it sit here for like 30 minutes or so, and then maybe I'll cure it quickly if it's not cured already. Now we are ready to treat the bow as if it didn't even have a backing. So we can just tiller. I'm gonna start with about a 1/2 inch around the handle, 3/8 inch near the limb tips. That'll get us close to the draw weight I'm looking for. In this Willet bow series, most of the bows that ever break right about now. Ooh, this is way too heavy still. I'm not gonna string that. We need to take another 15, 20 pounds off. Why is it so heavy still? Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, I figured it out. I cut the limb tips down. I cut it down to a 68, not a 72-inch bow, but I used the thickness for a 72-inch bow. That's why this is still probably 60-pound draw, not the 40 I'm looking for. Good thing about getting a string on it is you can see how even the limbs are. They are pretty uniform or in a pretty good spot right now, so I can just fairly aggressively remove some more material. Although if I'm analyzing the tiller, you kind of see this section right here is going a little too much. This side's pretty even. The limb tips are bending a little more than I need them to, so I will go calm here on the limb tips as well as to this point. So I'll remove more wood here, and then I'll remove more wood to about there, and then test it again. I'll also mark what I just said with a pencil so that I have reference lines and don't make a fatal screw up for this bow. And a tape measure measuring from the belly of the bow to the string will help you see which limb is bending more. Okay, I've been tillering and scraping for almost 2 hours now. And it's crazy how some of these projects go super quick and other ones take a lot longer. But I think I got the tiller pretty good. And I'm at 20 inches down, 20-inch draw with a 30-pound draw. And I was gonna continue to remove material until I realized we're testing out the backing. So let's stress test it a little bit. Let's draw it down to maybe 40, 50 pounds and see what happens. I got plenty of bows just like this to shoot, so if this one breaks, that's okay. But that's a better stress test, right? Let's try it. Now, since I've been consistently tillering to 30 pounds, we know that a 30-pound bow is completely doable. But let's see how this thing holds up if we go down further than 30 pounds. So that's 30 pounds right there at 20 inches. Give you guys a nice good angle in case it just blows up on us. But let's draw it down, just see a little further. Okay, that's 35 pounds. That's 40 or 39. 42. I actually might run out of draw length before I run out of draw weight. Because if it starts to stack, it would break anyway. I can see that slit right there that we glued back together. And that wouldn't hold without a backing, I don't think. See what we can do here. It's increasing draw weight a lot slower than I thought it would. I mean, there's 42, and that's about as far as I want to go. All right, let's shoot it. Now, if you haven't seen my last video, I shot my first bow 27 years ago, and after shooting right-handed my entire life, I switched from right to left-hand. And to my surprise, I think I should have been shooting left-handed all along. So now, I'm shooting left-handed. So I shot that first shot and the string is kind of laying to the other side, so I made this bow kind of ambidextrous. I think this side will be a little bit better. It's a little more center shot. So let's flip it around and yeah, that way's better. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. first question was, will it bow? And it does. It shoots really good. The second question I have is, how will it bow? How good will this be as a bow? Is this a viable, good option? Not just to, can you make a bow out of it, but is it worth adding this backing to make a better bow? And boy, did I look out today, because this turned out to be a 42-pound bow. And this bow right here is a hickory 42-pound bow, not following a growth ring, and they are the exact same length. So we can put these two bows head to head and to see if the seat belt adds performance over the all-wood bow. We'll do this by measuring draw weight curve, thickness of bow. I'll analyze how smooth they are side by side, as well as a speed test. The first thing we need to do is draw this on the Tillering tree and measure the draw weight at every single individual inch from brace height to full draw length. That'll tell us if the curve, if they increase poundage differently, they start at nothing and they both end at 42 pounds, but does the backing change early draw weight, late draw weight, mid draw weight? Let's find out. Measured from the back of the bow down, I put a piece of tape that has a mark every single inch, and let's write these in. All right, so you can relax. Well, I do this for 30 minutes. I ran into a slight problem with the testing. This bow that I marked as 42, I built this bow over a year ago and I've shot it a fair amount. It's dropped down to about 40.5 pounds, 40.68. And that bow, on the same scale, I made sure I measured from the same distance. I was measuring it to 1 inch short at 27 inches. Therefore, that bow is actually 45 pounds, where this one is 40. So I'm going to retiller the seatbelt back bow, not retiller it, I'm just going to remove a slight bit of material here. So these match up perfectly so that our further test will be accurate. If one's 45, one's 40, it's not going to be a consistent test. So I'm going to do that basically off camera. Actually, I probably just showed you me doing it right now. So let's jump forward. All right, that took a lot longer than I thought. About an hour and a half to retiller a little bit and then measure everything. But we got our results, and I did this for you guys to let you know that it doesn't make any difference to add the backing as far as the draw weight curve goes. All right, next test. Now let's take a couple of shots side by side to see how they feel. Now I will take this bowstring off and put it on the other bow, so it's the exact same bowstring on both of them. For example, if this one has beaver and that one doesn't, the feeling could be different. Man, this bow's just good. I like the way it feels, it's just good. But I haven't shot the other one with beaver on yet, so let's do that. Okay, now the seat belt. This one might be faster. This could be wild. If this adds strength and makes it faster, it felt faster. All right, let's see how this feels. They feel about the same. No difference on the draw weight curve. No difference on how they feel when we shoot. Let's take measurements with calipers and see if they're the same thickness. So by matching them up right next to each other, and I did the same design too, by the way. So yeah, the thickness or the width is the same. So I can measure right here. And I'm going to measure about every 6 inches. 6, 10. Interesting. 11.8. 4. Really interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay. It was consistently about 0.5 millimeter less on the backed seatbelt bow. So most of the thicknesses were in between 10 and 13 millimeters. And so on the seatbelt bow, it'd be 10 millimeters. And on the plain hickory, it'd be 10.5 millimeters. So with some quick math, that's what, about a 5%, 3 to 6% difference in the thickness of the material. Let's do a speed test. Okay, so it's go time. Let's do a shot here with the all hickory bow. See that? 135. And all I'm concerned about is how fast this is in comparison to the other bow that's the same draw length and draw weight. Same material, just the seatbelt backing. And so I don't even know the weight of my arrow or anything. I'm just gonna use the same arrow that flies pretty straight, and it'll fly about the same with both of these so that we can get consistent results between the two. All right, let's take one more shot so we get a good consistent feel of what it's actually going. 135 again. All right, now same string, same arrow, same wood, just a different backing. We were very consistently right around 135 on all my shots with the other one. Let's try the seatbelt now. I literally, can you see that? 136. 136 again. Sometimes you can add a backing and it adds a little bit more snappiness to it. That's what I find happens with bamboo. I wasn't sure if it would happen here. With this fabric, I have to say, you can't say it made it faster. I got 1 feet per second faster on average from this bow to that bow. That doesn't really count. So where does this come into play? I think it's insurance, and let's try it. I didn't want to do this, but I really want to do this. I'd like to break this bow with a seatbelt backing. Now, that whole split, where's the split at? That split's right there. It completely disappeared with this backing on, which is super cool. That shows that this backing holds pretty good. Some people might say that that split would have held with just wood glue the whole time. I don't think so from my experience. I really don't think so. I don't think that's enough. But this was a stave that was trashed. It was trashed, literally got out of the trash. I was like, you know what? I think I can use that. So let's break this and see how it breaks. That's gonna be super interesting. The only reason I say I don't want to break this is because I'm sure somebody would like to have this bow and to shoot it. But I think the lesson learned here could be worth more than this bow. Okay, so what can happen is the bow can shatter and blow up, but potentially that backing will hold it together, so it'll kind of break and just kind of fall right there. That would be an ideal scenario, especially if you're shooting the bow. So let's see what happens. You know, one of my goals is to break more bows than anybody in human history, so I actually purchased this just so that I could break bows and not get my face damaged. All right, let's give it a nice steady pull and see what happens. I maxed it out. Oh no. This is so unreal. The bowstring drew down so far, it was let me do it again. It was hitting right there. Okay, so look tight right in here. So we're at 28 inches. 29, 30, and I can't pull any further. That's wild. It nearly feels like a sign that I'm like, okay, this bow was meant to survive. At the same time, I'm really curious. So let's pull out a saw and cut my table. Okay, we're cleaned up and ready to go. This black tape is 34 inches down. Let's see if we reach that. Whew. All right, here we go. So there's a past 30. That's as far as we've gone. That's wrong. 35, we're hitting again. Oh no. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. That should have broke at least 4, if not 5 inches ago. I drew it down to 35 and a half inches, and we're hitting again. I'm just examining the bow there was this one time when I tried to test a fiberglass bow to see if it would break. It was a specific design and not recurve, it was a long bow. And I drew it down to 38 inches. And when it got to 38, the angle on the string was so steep, the string pulled off of the bow. This is how you break a bow. Oh! I don't think it broke. What? I don't think it broke. And the bow didn't break. The string came off the tip overlay because it was bending so much, it just popped right out. We are so close to that happening, I think, when looking at this bow. It's so close that the angle's so steep, it's about to pull off. Do you know what this means? This bow does not get any faster when you add a backing. The bow does not get any smoother when you shoot it. But what it does do is it gives you almost full insurance. If you use the seatbelt backing, you have insurance. Your back of your bow is good. It's solid. You're good to go. So all you need is something on the belly that's strong enough. Grab a piece of hickory, grab a piece of hard maple, grab something from the hardware store. This is so much stronger. I'm trying to think of other backings. I don't know a bow backing that holds as good as this, with the exception of fiberglass made for making bows. This won't only bow, this will make a really good bow. The trick is, if you're gonna make a bow with this, the trick is gonna be to figure out how to make it look good on the back. There are places where more glue seeps through than others, and it's a little spotty visually. You can kind of see it there in the light. But if you use a seatbelt as a bow backing, you no doubt have a bow you can trust, a bow that won't break on the back. All you have to worry about is the compression. That's a cheat code. And for this bow, the material was about $3. I haven't found anything that cheap that's this strong. Be an amateur forever. Always try things. We don't live long enough to be a pro. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you on the next video where we make another bow, another video. I don't know. I'll see you guys.